Over the decades, DC Comics' symbol of hope has been reimagined, rebuilt, twisted, and even elevated to cosmic godhood. But among all these versions, some heroic, others monstrous, some born from pain, others forged from reality itself, which ones truly deserve the title of most powerful? From the Superman who became a living armor of narrative, to the one who spent 15,000 years inside the sun and returned as a god, to even the version that simply gave up on humanity. Today, we're diving into forgotten timelines, collapsing universes, and pushing the boundaries of what Superman can be. In this video, we've picked out 10 of the most insanely powerful versions of Superman ever created. Let's go! Kicking off our list at number 10, Ultraman from Earth 3. Ultraman is the twisted counterpart to Superman from the dark, morally inverted universe of Earth 3. Instead of being a beacon of hope, Ultraman is a brutal tyrant and the leader of the crime syndicate, an evil version of the Justice League. His origin varies. Sometimes he's a Kryptonian who gains powers from kryptonite, other times he's a human altered by aliens after a cosmic accident. Ultraman has powers similar to Superman: superhuman strength, flight, heat vision, and near invulnerability. But unlike Superman, who draws energy from yellow sunlight, Ultraman is empowered by kryptonite and weakened by sunlight. Each exposure to kryptonite can grant him new powers, making him increasingly dangerous and unpredictable. As the crime syndicate's leader, Ultraman has clashed with the Justice League on multiple occasions, often attempting to conquer alternate Earths. In one notable storyline, he even moved the moon to block the sun, ensuring Earth's surface would be bathed in darkness to maintain his strength and weaken resistance. Ultraman is driven by power and control, showing no compassion or empathy. In some versions, he even inhales powdered kryptonite like a drug, a disturbing sign of his addiction and the corruption of his power. Whether through brute force or manipulation, Ultraman represents what Superman might become without a conscience, a dark reflection of unchecked strength. In ninth place, we have Injustice Superman. In the Injustice universe, Superman suffers a soul-shattering tragedy. The Joker tricks him into killing Lois Lane, who was pregnant with their child, and detonates a nuclear bomb that destroys Metropolis. Grief-stricken and enraged, Kal-El murders the Joker on the spot. But that's only the beginning. Determined to prevent future tragedies, Superman establishes the regime, a global dictatorship where peace is enforced through absolute control. While his powers remain the same, super strength, flight, heat vision, invulnerability, what sets Injustice Superman apart is his willingness to use them without restraint. He no longer follows moral codes. He kills, tortures, and dominates former allies if they oppose him, becoming more dangerous than most of his traditional enemies ever were. As the regime's supreme leader, Superman defeats numerous heroes. He subdues powerful beings like Ares and Kalibak, and even moves the moon to block sunlight, weakening his enemies. His reign of tyranny becomes so overwhelming that Batman forms the insurgency, enlisting heroes from another universe to bring him down. After his defeat, Superman is imprisoned in a red sun cell, which suppresses his powers. Yet even in captivity, he remains unshaken in his belief, convinced that the world still needs his iron grip. The tragedy of Injustice Superman isn't just his fall, it's that he never stops thinking he's right. In eighth place, Superman Red Sun. In Superman Red Sun, Kal-El's rocket crashes not in Kansas, but in Soviet Ukraine. Raised under communist ideals, he becomes the ultimate symbol of the Soviet Union, promoting global socialism with the full force of his Kryptonian powers. After Stalin's death, Superman assumes leadership of the Communist Party and creates a seemingly perfect but authoritarian utopia, where individual freedom is sacrificed for the collective good. His powers mirror those of the classic Superman: super strength, heat vision, flight, and near-total invulnerability. But what sets him apart is his strategic mind and political influence. He uses his abilities to spread Soviet ideology and maintain world order through sheer dominance. Under his rule, the USSR eradicates poverty and disease, but at a steep cost: freedom. He faces opposition from a rebellious Batman, who sacrifices himself in protest, and from Lex Luthor, who leads the American resistance. In the end, after witnessing the consequences of his regime, Superman has a moment of revelation and gives up his power, choosing to let humanity determine its own fate. In the story's brilliant epilogue, it's revealed that thousands of years later, a descendant of Lex Luthor sends his son back in time to escape Earth's destruction. That child? Kal-El. The cycle begins again, tying Superman's legacy into an eternal loop, a masterstroke of poetic irony. In seventh place, we have Kingdom Come Superman. In the alternate universe of Kingdom Come, set on Earth 22, tragedy strikes Kal-El to his core. Lois Lane and his Daily Planet colleagues are murdered by the Joker. But it's not the Joker's actions alone that break Superman. It's what happens next. The Joker is killed by Magog, a violent new hero, and society applauds. Disillusioned by the world's approval of lethal justice, Superman retreats to the Fortress of Solitude, disappearing for a decade. In his absence, a new generation of reckless and brutal metahumans rises. After a catastrophic nuclear disaster in Kansas, caused by a clash between these unchecked super beings, Superman returns, not as a symbol of hope, but as a force of order. Years of constant exposure to yellow solar radiation have pushed his powers far beyond their original limits. He's now immune to kryptonite, strong enough to move planets, fast enough to rival Wally West, and resistant to magical attacks. His invulnerability is so extreme that he survives a nuclear blast without flinching, and his senses allow him to perceive things far beyond human capability. Upon his return, Superman reforms the Justice League and builds a detention center to imprison the out-of-control metahumans. In the final battle, he clashes with Shazam, who ultimately sacrifices himself to prevent a nuclear catastrophe. After the war, Superman helps rebuild the world, reclaims his identity as Clark Kent, and begins a relationship with Diana, with whom he's expecting a child. One of the most iconic elements of Kingdom Come is the redesigned symbol on Superman's chest, a red insignia on a black background, representing mourning and introspection. In sixth place, Blue Superman. In the 1990s, following events like Final Night, Superman loses his connection to solar energy, his traditional power source. In a desperate attempt to restore his abilities, he undergoes a solar overload that radically transforms him. His body becomes pure electromagnetic energy, and to retain a physical form, he wears a containment suit built by Emil Hamilton and Lex Luthor. As this energy-based Superman, he develops an entirely new set of powers. He can manipulate electromagnetic fields, phase through solid matter, and detect different energy spectrums with heightened senses. He's also capable of firing lightning-like blasts, flying at near-light speeds, and absorbing virtually any form of energy. During this phase, Superman tackles threats that require creativity and control over his new abilities. In one instance, he uses his magnetic powers to repel the moon, preventing a catastrophic collision with Earth. In another, he absorbs unstable nuclear energy from a reactor, averting disaster. These moments highlight the versatility and power of his electric form. Eventually, Superman splits into two separate entities: Blue Superman, who is calm and analytical, and Red Superman, who's impulsive and emotional. This duality reflected different sides of his personality and served as a modern homage to a classic Silver Age storyline from the 1960s. In fifth place, we have Superdoom, the fusion of Superman and Doomsday. In the Superman-Doom storyline from DC's New 52 era, Superman faces off against a more dangerous version of Doomsday, who now releases a deadly toxin upon death. After defeating the creature, Kal-El inhales the toxic remnants to protect Earth, but becomes infected himself. The infection rewrites his DNA, transforming him into a monstrous version of himself known as Superdoom. This terrifying fusion blends Superman's morality with Doomsday's pure rage, creating a nearly uncontrollable force. As Superdoom, Superman gains amplified strength, near invulnerability, accelerated regeneration, and increased resistance to kryptonite. But there's a dark twist. He also develops a primal, violent rage that makes him a threat even to his closest allies. The form constantly challenges his ethics and self-control, forcing him to walk a razor's edge between savior and destroyer. In this form, Superdoom takes on Brainiac, who's attempting to rewrite reality itself. Battling both the villain and his own inner corruption, Superman ultimately defeats Brainiac and saves the Earth, but at a tremendous personal cost. He nearly loses his identity in the process. What's most haunting is that even after returning to normal, Superman carries emotional scars from the experience, forever changed by the line he came so close to crossing between hero and monster. In fourth place, Superboy-Prime. Superboy-Prime comes from Earth Prime, a universe where DC's superheroes exist only as comic book characters. Clark Kent, a teenage fan of Superman, discovers he's actually a Kryptonian when Halley's Comet triggers his powers. During Crisis on Infinite Earths, he fights alongside other heroes to stop the Anti-Monitor. But after his universe is destroyed, he's trapped in a paradise dimension, where isolation and longing consume him, fueling an obsession to restore his lost world and reclaim his place as the one true Superboy. His powers mirror Superman's, but on an even higher scale. He's strong enough to shatter planets with his fists, immune to kryptonite from other realities, and fast enough to rival the speed of light. His durability and flight are virtually limitless, making him one of the most dangerous beings in the multiverse. During Infinite Crisis, Superboy-Prime causes catastrophic damage. He destroys the Justice League Watchtower and battles two Supermen at once. In a fit of rage, he even punches the fabric of reality, altering the DC timeline, leading to events like Jason Todd's resurrection and rewritten origins for characters like Donna Troy. After his defeat, Superboy-Prime is sent back to Earth Prime, where his parents and girlfriend, having read about his atrocities in comic books, begin to fear him. Isolated and consumed by bitterness, he becomes obsessed with DC Comics, collecting them obsessively. In many ways, Superboy-Prime is a living metaphor for toxic fandom, those who reject change and lash out when their favorite stories evolve. In third place, we have All-Star Superman. In the All-Star Superman miniseries, written by Grant Morrison and illustrated by Frank Quitely, the Man of Steel confronts his own mortality after a solar overdose deliberately orchestrated by Lex Luthor. This radiation surge boosts his powers to near-divine levels, but also triggers an irreversible process of cellular degeneration. With only 1 year left to live, Superman sets out to complete 12 impossible tasks, reflecting on his legacy and striving to leave the world in a better state before his time runs out. During this final year, his powers reach extraordinary heights. He gains the ability to perceive soul spectrums, create life in a lab, lift a half-ton key forged from star matter, and even withstand a collapsing sun. His intellect and understanding of the universe also evolve, allowing him to solve cosmic riddles and communicate with higher dimensional beings. Among his most astonishing feats are the creation of a miniature universe, curing incurable diseases, and facing Solaris. In his final act, Superman sacrifices himself to reignite the sun, ensuring life on Earth continues. His journey is a powerful tribute to hope, compassion, and the responsibility that comes with great power. What's fascinating is that All-Star Superman was designed as a timeless, standalone story, disconnected from DC's main continuity. Grant Morrison aimed to distill the essence of the character, presenting a Superman who embraces both his godlike presence and his deep humanity, resulting in one of the most beloved and emotionally resonant portrayals of the hero. In second place, Superman Prime 1 million. In the 853rd century, the original Superman, Kal-El, returns after a self-imposed exile of 15,000 years inside the sun's core. During that time, he absorbed an astronomical amount of solar energy, transforming into a near-divine being. His isolation came from losing loved ones and searching for a higher purpose, which ultimately led to his ascension as Superman Prime 1 million. This version wields powers that defy human comprehension. His strength is immeasurable. He can move planets with ease. He travels trillions of times faster than light, manipulates time and reality, and can even bring the dead back to life. His senses are so heightened he can hear whispers from distant worlds and see through time and matter itself. On top of that, he developed new abilities like reality warping, time control, and resurrection. During the events of DC 1 million, Superman Prime 1 million plays a key role in defeating Solaris, the living sun, a cosmic threat bent on Earth's destruction. Many fans and comic experts consider Superman Prime 1 million the most powerful Superman ever officially created, surpassing even cosmic beings like Darkseid or the Spectre in some storylines. And in the number 1 spot, Cosmic Armor Superman. Cosmic Armor Superman, also known as the Thought Robot, doesn't come from a traditional universe. He exists outside the narrative itself. Introduced during Final Crisis Superman Beyond, he's activated when a threat surpasses what the conventional multiverse can handle. To face Mandrak, the devourer of stories, reality needed more than just a hero. It needed a living concept of resistance. The Thought Robot is built from pure narrative and symbolic thought. He's self-aware and possesses infinite adaptive power, which means he gets stronger in direct proportion to the threat he faces. He doesn't just see the story, he reads and responds to it in real time. This version of Superman fights on a higher plane, where ideas and archetypes clash as if they were physical forces. His greatest feat? Battling Mandrak, an entity representing pure nihilism, the end of all stories. In a fight that went beyond time itself, Thought Robot Superman resisted the decay of meaning and saved the multiverse by literally rewriting his own role in the narrative. He didn't win through brute force, but through symbolic presence. And here's the kicker. Cosmic Armor Superman doesn't act like Clark Kent or Kal-El. In the comics, he's described as an idea wearing the armor of Superman. His very existence challenges the structure of storytelling itself. He's what remains when even the gods need saving. By something greater, the ideal of the hero. Which version do you think is the most powerful or the most terrifying? Until next time.